All right, so we have gotten all of the plants out of their containers. We have tore down all of the greenhouse covers and the insect netting cover. All of the covers are gone. I know what plants I'm keeping, what plants I need to give away. They're all in their locations, but still in the cups, and that took a lot because I needed to actually figure it out and untangle them, and some of them are worse for wear, particularly the tomatoes. I feel like they actually do need to go on the ground now to actually just be healthy. I am over planting. Normally I just put one per square foot, although that might be an estimate. I'm not actually doing the measurements for that. I'm going by sight. Typically I do that because I know that when they get established and huge, it gets messy. But I'm over planting because the plants are they're in weird condition. They're not the healthiest because of the soil I used, and when looking at the bottom of these plants, they don't have a lot of root growth compared to the other plants that were potted in the Happy Frog soil, which the roots are actually coming out of the cup. So I'm not exactly sure how well they would do with transplanting. I also need to heavily deal with the roots to get as much of that soil off as possible so that they can actually go into the soil here, because it has worm castings in it. I didn't purchase those. I have an abundance of worms in the soil. So this soil will be a lot healthier by far than the soil that these plants germinated in. So I'm going to try my best to get as much of that soil off as possible, put them in the ground with the eggshells and the food scraps and water them in. And they're going to tank for a while because I am heavily messing with the roots, whatever roots are left. But hopefully in a week or so with sunlight, I don't think it's going to rain too much this week. They'll bounce back up, and then next week we'll have a positive stories to share. I will check up on them every single day, but I think they might struggle for a while, just literally because I have to heavily mess with the roots to get a lot of that soil off. It wasn't good soil. I'm going to put you guys in the time lapse so that we can get these plants in the ground, hopefully before 7 o'clock. Let's go. Alright, so typically I do a no-dig method if I can help it. I mean, obviously when I'm putting like the plants in, I can't really do that, but I try to disturb the soil as little as possible. So we've reached a clay level, and you can see all of that water. I don't know if you can see that, all of that water pulling in that hole. Alright, so that's about as deep as I want it because this plant actually has roots. I don't know if you can see that actually growing off the stem because the soil quality is so poor. So we are going to add in some food scraps because they're not going to be able to use this right away, so we actually want to put it as far as we can. And then just a little bit of eggshells. And we're going to put some of the dirt back, as it's mentioned the plant can use this right now. And then you see the soil here? I'm going to try to get some of this dirt off. Alright, pop that in there. Some water and start loading the natural soil back. I'm going to take off these leaves here and hope for the best. So these plants went through something. Poor soil, conditions outside were horrible for a while, but they are alive. So I'm going to put a stake here so if we do have strong winds it doesn't blow them over. Alright, we're going to keep the containers here because I need to do some plant markers, but that is a Cherokee Purple. And let's just do the rest. Alright, so I am filthy, but I wanted to show you guys the garden space. And all of the plants are in right now. It's literally about to be 8 o'clock, I think. Actually, I think it's 8:30, so it's about to be 9 o'clock. So it's kind of late, but we still do have the sun. But I wanted to actually show you guys everything that was planted. We do still have some things that are not planted. Those might be giveaways because I don't have any more space for anything else. And then we also have all of the red cups are actually still in the garden beds, and that's because I did not make labels. Usually I stick the labels inside of the germination cups and then I can just put them in the ground. Didn't do that this year. I used tape and marker. So tomorrow morning when I am cleaner and I don't know, not so tired because I've been at this for a couple hours, I will actually go around and then replace the cups with the labels. But I wanted to make a video for twofold, to show you guys what it looked like, and then also to make a video note of what these plants are, just in case the winds get bad at night and the cups get everywhere. So I'm going to show you guys what the garden space looks like, and then maybe in a few days actually show you guys a little bit more when the sun is actually up and everything is illuminated. Ignore the mariachi music in the background. My neighbors are celebrating Memorial Day for hours. So just ignore it and I'll show you guys, give you guys a small garden tour. So let's go. Alright, so all of the peppers were actually planted. We do have various assortments of peppers. I mean, primarily hot peppers. So cayenne peppers, Anaheim peppers. Is that Anaheim? Yep, Anaheim peppers, cayenne peppers, and Thai peppers. They are a little worse for wear because they were just up potted, but some of these actually had flowers starting to set on them, so they definitely had to be planted. Look at that. And then we actually have some cabbage here, at least 3 cabbage. I actually think I might have room for 1 more cabbage. Probably over there in that corner. So that might be a cabbage. So at least 4 cabbage, I think that might be doable, but I have about 8. So at least 4 more have to be given away. And then we also have a lone eggplant here. The Soul Germinator. I'm starting eggplant in February from now on with the peppers because, you know, you get like maybe 10% germination and then it's not quite sure whether or not it'll survive, but it looks healthy. I'm going to put some insect netting over it, but it's going to be growing in a bucket just in case it croaks. No harm. I don't have any room for it anyway. I don't know if you guys can see this, but can we appreciate the carrots over here are starting to come up with all of that rain. Although I can't take the netting off of it because I have a raccoon that likes to poop in certain garden spaces. Just the disrespect. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to enclose this. Peppers, cabbage, 1 eggplant. And then we do have, in our salad greens, our bok choy actually did bolt, which I think I mentioned. We got 2 good harvests off of it before it went to seed. So this is actually a row of collard greens here, which I'm going to have to get some sluggo. The snails are impressive this year. Paris Island lettuce is doing fairly well. We've actually been pulling off of this for the last week. I actually planted some lettuce leaf basil in here as well. And the tatsoi is doing fine, but it probably will be the next to bolt. So when this comes out, I'll plant another row of collards. And then I think I might have to do the mustards and the turnips from seed because the plants I started to germinate in the house just didn't work out. But can we take a moment to appreciate the beauty of this? And the leeks planted in between. And then we do have collards here because the purple bok choy, while it is absolutely beautiful, is also on its way out. So I might as well just plant the collards now since they need a place to go. And then the May Queen lettuce is not actually a cut and come again salad green. It's more of a, I guess, take the entire head because it's forming little salad balls, which is fine. So I probably will get to it before. Look at this. See the snails already? The slugs. Look at this. Already. Definitely needs some sluggo. But I might decide to take it before the snows get to the inside of it and I can't harvest it, period. But here is our salad greens with our collard greens mixed in. Then we do have a custard squash here, which is basically a patty pan squash, but they're beautiful yellow orange. And then I have some leeks interplanted, hoping that that might deter something. Whatever wants to harm the lettuce, the squash, I'm hoping the leeks will deter them. And then we have another custard squash here. And some more leeks interplanted. And inside of the garden space, and I definitely will give you guys a more in-depth tour at a later point, all of the tomatoes were interplanted with leeks and dill and basil, and we have borage and nasturtiums, marigolds, anything really to distract from the smell. But they were buried quite deep, so they're very tall. I mean, very leggy, but they're very small right now. But we have Cherokee purple here, and then there's a really leggy Amish paste here, another Cherokee purple here, some basil, we have some nasturtiums, some more basil, a butternut squash here, and then this one is a Abe Lincoln tomato, very tiny. Some borage just coming up from seed. I probably have to be relocated. We do have some sad looking dill, but hopefully it decides to pick itself up. That would be nice. We have another Abe Lincoln here. Beautiful nasturtium here. And literally I chopped down the bunching onions and just put them on the soil, hoping to deter some scent. I don't know if that works, but it's gonna stay there. And we do have a San Marzano tomato, the only surviving San Marzano. And a random mystery tomato here, but watch and see it be a cherry tomato. Then we do have a honey baby squash here. And then on this side we do have a pepper, because the peppers actually do grow better in the shade, and this bed is nothing but shaded on this side. So we have one lone Anaheim pepper, and we have an Abe Lincoln here, beautiful borage, another Abe Lincoln, very, very tiny. A borage right next to a nasturtium, so hopefully they don't outcompete each other. A beautiful, really, really strong smelling marigold here. Honey baby squash, a mugwort. Then we have a Cherokee purple here with some basil and some dill. This is an Amish paste tomato here, Amish paste here, honey baby squash, lettuce leaf basil, Amish paste here, another marigold, and I do believe that this is an Amish paste here as well. We do have a bunch of borage coming up, and then I did plant a red nasturtium there, a red hazania there, because it's going, no, this is an orange. It'll be absolutely beautiful here. So it looks like they all look a little leggy and worse for wear now, because they were in the germinating containers for too long. The soil was bad, and then they were in the under the plastic for a long time, but hopefully they make it. Now this is going to be a pepper bed. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I have a whole lot of leftover peppers. So we have Anaheim pepper, Thai pepper, no, this is a, yep, Anaheim pepper, Thai pepper, a squash, which may or may not make it because this bed is somewhat shaded, Thai pepper, cayenne pepper, Anaheim pepper, and a cayenne pepper there. So a wide assortment of peppers, all of them hot, so they all have to turn red anyway, but they vary in sizes, so this bed should be interesting if nothing attacks them. I do have to do a bunch of weeding, and then I have to deal with these mulberries, but that's not a job we're going to do today. And then these are our sad, pitiful looking turnips and mustard greens. The soil was really bad. It was infested with gnats, and the gnats were actually eating away at the stems. I was thinking about putting these in the ground, but I don't know if they're going to make it, so I'll leave them out here for now. If they do look like they're growing and starting to get thicker, and sometimes these plants will actually root from their base, then maybe I will put them in a separate container and see if they want to survive. But I might actually start again from seed. We have our catnip bed. I did start some catnip from seed. I just put the entire thing in here, so some will survive, hopefully. And then here we have some zinnias, red zinnias, and I do believe peppermint Nope, both red zinnias here. And then interplanted in here are some okra. Now okra with these huge bunching onions, which needs to be cut and dehydrated. Now okra doesn't like to have to be transplanted, period. And it was already leggy when I got to it, so it's an experiment. I actually planted 2, 4, 6, 8 okra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 okra. I had 8, but 1 broke. We're actually going to see if they survive. And if 4 survive, that's really all the space I have anyway for okra because they get massive. I'm hoping that at least 4. So I planted all of them. None of them might survive, so I might actually just interplant some seeds for okra, but I had them and they didn't die. So we shall see if they want to live. Now interplanted is a custard squash here and here. And then to deter some scents, we have nasturtiums and marigolds and nasturtiums and marigolds, and obviously bunching onions in this bed. And I can take these cups because I know what these are. And then I think this is, yep, this one here is an orange zinnia here. And then there's a little marigold coming up here from seeds, so I'm just going to let it grow and see what it does. And then we have a few more nasturtiums popping up. So let's just see if the okra want to survive. I might have to do a little bit of protection from the slugs, but I don't want to put a cup over them because it seems like the slugs might like that. So I'm going to buy some slug on and see if that'll help. And then in this tiny bed, I do have, let's see, a peppermint zinnia here. It's actually starting to open up. And some nasturtiums and some little asparagus in the corners. I was thinking about putting a squash here, but I thought that this might be too much when everything takes off. But if we do have space, I can always plop another plant in there. And then here is nothing but, I think Kellogg's breakfast. Let's see. Yeah, I think these might be nothing more than Kellogg's breakfast. Tomatoes, all orange tomatoes. And they're kind of puny, so I planted all of them just to see if, 1 or 2 might make it. With my luck, they'll all survive and this bed will just be crowded. But yeah, here, here, here. So that's 3, 5 Kellogg's breakfast tomatoes. And then there's interplanted basil and nasturtiums to throw off the scent. And we do still have our peas, which are still going quite strong, although the temperature is getting as such where they might not fruit because we're currently at like 80 degrees and the humidity is high. But they are starting to put on flowers now, so we'll see if we get a harvest from the peas. And then once the peas peter out, then the tomatoes will start taking off, so it's a good transitional crop. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I am so excited to finally be starting the garden season directly on Memorial Day. I usually plant in Mother's Day, but obviously we were having some technical difficulties with the weather. She was being temperamental. So now that everything has done what it was supposed to do, we can actually finally get started. I mean, there's a bunch of things that are actually coming up. Obviously, all of the alliums, so the bunching onions, the chives, they're already up. The nasturtiums up. We have borage everywhere, so we definitely have life here, but it's not really a garden without the tomatoes and the peppers being planted out. So I'm thoroughly grateful to have that happening right now. Yeah. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching, and you have a great and wonderful day. Peace.